It's here for me mamunya kwaba eba Melodies Podcast YouTube channel so na is Ankomah revealing some deep secrets. Is Ankomah or a lawyer address onim nsemu pa ekoso ewo Ghana. Now we revealing some deep secrets about menzgold oko omo past senior na omo ye na one time say menzgold and right friend the men's bank no more threaten say omo besiu eye BOG na is Ankomah at the info ni niaba na ono so eka say ene menzgold customers ne nkwa no be blame omo be blame SEC aban company na ana aban institution na close menzgold down no so no be blame SEC or so be blame BOG na point no the mine na reason tia oka so be blame SEC and BOG na tie for utie pa obe unsa nyansa ewom acha say SEC ni BOG na 5 years ago menzgold near friend the men's bank ehia no na SEC and BOG omonya information omonim say nkrofo we ade omoye no one day begu now so ye nim obi anim de ntia omo in anko stopping menzgold menzgold for bese so mudin from men's bank to menzgold no into yanko fa audio no is Ankomah MI
to Dr. Theo Echampong. But Ace, when you hear comments like they were not, under the ambit of the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchange Commission, what do you say?
I especially disagree. The Bank of Ghana is given the mandate to regulate banks and deposit taking. Period. You cannot say that I am doing something in the nature of what Bank of Ghana is doing, but because I haven't applied for the license, I'm not regulated by Bank of Ghana. And Bank of Ghana cannot say that we can see that what they are doing breaches our law, but because they haven't applied for a license, we don't regulate them. I mean, that is a contradiction in terms. That is why the law says that if Bank of Ghana finds out that without their license, you are engaged in the business of taking deposits, they shut you down. You could go to jail. And so it is an offense to be engaged in deposit taking without the Bank of Ghana authorizing you through its license. And so for me, it's a dereliction of duty for any regulatory agency to say that this person is doing something that I should be regulating. I haven't regulated him or her, and so I am not in charge of regulating the person. What you do is that you shut it down. Same with SEC, and it was unfortunate that some of the communication from these regulators were contradictory. I don't know how much time I have on this, but we have to set this down carefully. First line, this is a private company. Basic rule in private company law, a private company cannot take deposits, cannot invite the public to either acquire its securities or bring in deposits. So the first line of defense should have been the Registrar General of Companies, the Registrar of Companies. Because Section 255 gives the registrar the power that when the company is being used for an illegal purpose, for the registrar to step in, cause an inspection to be done on the company, go to court, and ultimately get an order winding up the business and recommending prosecution and paying back people compensations for what they've lost. So that is one line of regulatory failure. The company's registrar failed us by not stepping in and exercising its powers, triggering from Section 9 through 225 or 255. That was the first line. The second line was Bank of Ghana. And Ghana got involved in this after a second deputy governor said, what they are doing is illegal, but we don't have any evidence of it. That was in August 2017. So we started investigating this. And I can't disclose what we did, but it led us, we heard about all this gold thing. I said, how can you be selling gold and paying monthly dividend? It doesn't work. Of course, several people wouldn't listen. So we went to PMMC and said, what are they doing? We asked, what are they doing? We got the records. For the whole of 2016, they exported a value of roughly $3 million of gold. That's it. And so is it $3 million that's supporting this fantastic scheme? It's impossible. The monies they were paying out were way in excess of what they had earned. So is it unreported income? That's criminal. But how is it that they can sell the gold through PMMC and still be making money every month to pay people every month? That is not in the official records. So this is too fantastic to be real. So clearly, it wasn't the gold they were selling. And why were they selling that gold? They had been licensed in August 2016. Interesting date. August 2016. By Minerals Commission to buy gold from small-scale miners at their offices, at the company's offices, and then export. That was it. So they claim that we are not regulated by SEC or Bank of Ghana. We are regulated by Minerals Commission. It was farcical because the only power they had was to acquire gold from small-scale miners and export, not to sell locally. So when our letter went out, soon after our letter went out, in September 2017, the Minerals Commission wrote to them to say, we are sorry, but your power, the license we gave you, doesn't allow you to do what you're doing. So stop. They ignored it. And so when they said Minerals Commission was their regulator, Minerals Commission had written to them to say, you have to stop this. They refused, so they ignored Minerals Commission. What could Minerals Commission have done? Immediately triggered their Section 99 powers. It's a crime. Report to the police. Arrest. Jail. They didn't do it. Second level regulatory failure was Minerals Commission. Third was SEC. Okay, let's get to Bank of Ghana before SEC. This was deposit taking, and the second deputy governor at the time had given the hint. And previously, Bank of Ghana had issued notices warning people about dealing with menzgold and other companies. What happened? Nothing. But if I'm engaged in illegal deposit taking and you have issued a Bank of Ghana notice, it should not end there. There should be that triggering of the criminal investigation and the muscle power to shut down, which Bank of Ghana doesn't have. And so, from the original conception of the deal, when the whole scheme was called Men's Bank and was doing deposit taking in Kaswa, Bank of Ghana went in 2014, saw it, the people reported it to to management of Bank of Ghana. They issued a notice. When they had a meeting and pointed out to them that they couldn't use the word bank, they went quickly and changed the K at the end of their name to C. That simply by changing your name, you change your character. Samson, if I call you Sam tomorrow, probably your legal obligations no longer exist. That's not the law. A change of name doesn't change your character. You are still what you are. And continue to trade. Then Bank of Ghana went in again and said, you still can't use it. And so if you notice, at the time they got the license from PMMC, both PMMC and Minerals Commission, they were called Men's Bank with a C. Once they got the license, then they took the whole BNC out and inserted gold. But even the so-called trade of gold that they were doing breached the licenses that both PMMC and Minerals Commission had given to them. So, but Bank of Ghana was clear that this was, whatever they've put on it, is just a sham. There's no real gold transaction going on here. This is an illegal deposit-taking scheme. Issued notices, had meetings with them. At some point, they threatened to take Bank of Ghana to court. That was just before they changed their name to gold.
Right. So that's the third level. Is there a fourth level with SEC?
No, but let's deal with Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
When the people in the Bank of Ghana did this job and sent it to the governorship, they did nothing. So at the time the second deputy governor was saying we don't have evidence, I know that they had evidence that the people were doing illegal deposit taking. Why didn't they stop them? The fourth level quickly is the SEC. What they had tried to create was a crude form of a derivative, which should be regulated by SEC. It's a very crude form. And if you look at the SEC Act, both PNDC Law 333 and Act 929, it covered it. So to have read in the press, to extend that it's true, that an official of SEC had said, we are not sure they fall under our regulation, was the fourth level failure. Finally, SEC realized that they had the power and they moved in. Unfortunately, the SEC law doesn't necessarily make the illegal derivative an offense. What they do is that you have an administrative penalty, which is after 4,000 penalty units times 12. 40, really 48,000 series. Okay, that's one. If they then close you down and you continue to operate, then it becomes an offense. Right. So there are 4 levels of failure where each of these regulatory bodies could have stepped in to stop it, and then maybe later we'll come to the customers and the nature of the contracts they sign. Right. We must open that contract up to Ghanaians to see.
But I'm also interested in whether or not there is some form of liability. Because if you have identified these failures, can the customers have any claim? as in against what has happened, as in against government, so to speak. So hold on briefly. Okay. Yes, Doc.